Well, good afternoon, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live today. Welcome to the Doctor is In podcast. We appreciate you guys coming on with you. If you can come on live. And a fairly rare afternoon session today. And lots of studies to go on as you get your, hi, Andrea. Andrea from Niagara Falls, our morning crew, on with us in the afternoon. And say hello, folks, if you can, and we'll acknowledge a few people before we get started here. Hi, Janice from Brampton. How are you? Fran from Orangeville. Nice to have you on. And let's see here. Okay, Rosa, Modiat. Nice to have you on. Hi, Bonnie. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to be with you guys. Hi, Nativity. Yes, I am well. Thank you for asking. Laurie from Cambridge. And Georgie from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Francis from Vaughan. And Brandon, how are you? Anybody new? Say hello. Hi, Catherine. And Lucille from Rita, Janice. Lucille, where are you from? Shelley, Sherwood Park, Alberta. Yvonne, Petawawa. Bruno, how are you? Bruno, bonjourne. Bonjourne. Diane, Peterborough. Denny, Oshawa. Carol from Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. And let's see, anybody else here want to say hello before we get going this afternoon? Okay. Sherry from Mississauga. And Vince. How are you, Vince, from Tirana? Wendy from London. Laurie from Alberta. Ingrid, Calgary and Alberta. Calgary in Alberta. Roxanne, Edmonton. Another Albertan. Donna, how are you? Rita, in the clouds. And, okay, let's get going. We'll say, if I do see you when it comes by, I will say hello. And, okay, so, number one on the hit parade. Okay, these are just, some of them are articles, guys. Some of them are headline news as far as health concerned, and some of them are studies. Okay. Hi, Laurie. How are you? Lucille from Mild May. Yvette, how are you? Okay. This is an article on peptides. So that's the new craze now, are peptides, right? And the ones that we're familiar with are Ozempic, Wegovy, Wegovy, or whatever they call it, V. They were made for diabetes. Now, peptides are, look, as far as weight loss, do they work? Yeah. And you guys know what I say about that. And look, I get it. I understand why people use them. I understand why they're so popular. I really do. I had a weight loss clinic. I know all about weight loss. I've studied everything that you could study on weight loss. I studied it, believe me. And there was never magic, guys. There's no magic. And so peptides are very famous. I call them designer drugs because they always start in Hollywood, and Hollywood will do anything to anti-age. It's their business, guys. Anti-age and to lose weight. They'll do anything. And at the sacrifice of their body. And I just want to tell you, this is an article that the top two lawsuits on Ozempic are from one, stomach paralysis, and two, blindness. stomach paralysis and blindness. Huge price to pay. Okay? So again, I'm not minimizing somebody that has struggled with weight all their lives, and they want a shortcut, because these medications originally, these peptides, were designed as medications for diabetes, and they're very popular today. So I'm going to get asked a lot of questions. I always do. I try and put my spin on it, and my spin is, at the end of the day, the biggest thing that you can do for yourself in terms of diet is to change fuels and get your body on a much better fuel. That's why I talk about eggs, I talk about meat, and I talk about dairy, okay? And good dairy, because there's some bad dairy out there. There really is. I don't like fat-free milk or skim milk or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I really don't want people drinking milk. There's no reason to drink milk. I like dairy. I do. Okay? I really do. I love butter. I love cheese. But I'm big on drinking water and really cutting down on your drinking in terms of anything else other than water and coffee. Okay, you can have a tea. But I mean that, guys, because a lot of people are in trouble is because what they drink, especially those sugary drinks. So, anywho, and one of the things with, this is just part of the headline on the lawsuits, is that usually they're, the problem with Ozempic or others, peptides like this, people, after a year, they come off them. They come off them because there's too many side effects from them. That's just the fact. That's part of the article here. Okay, so here's another one. This has to do with not weight loss, although I like it, and that is another article on the importance of not eating at night. Okay, so you know me, I like, because people ask me again all the time about fasting. Well, I like fasting. I'll tell you what is doable is intermittent fasting. Eating in windows. And they're showing, study after study is showing, when you don't eat at night, at least 3 hours before you go to bed at night, there's a lot of good things that happen inside the body. Okay? When you get into the rest and digest, okay? You let your body rest and let it do its finishing touches on the digestion. If you eat at 10 o'clock at night and go to bed, it just is not good, because now your body is full. It's not resting. It's in full mode to break that food down. Okay? Now, here's what they've shown on intermittent fasting, not eating at night. Okay? Decreases blood pressure. Okay? According to this study. Very good. If it decreases your blood pressure, it's very good for your heart. It lowers insulin. It lowers insulin. It's a big factor in the digestion, allowing your acid in your stomach to break down, especially the protein, and you've got to give your body time before you go to bed. And then a lot of people found that they can, if they stop, for example, at 6 o'clock at night, they give themselves, and they don't have any snacks, and they don't eat till 8 o'clock in the morning, well, you've done 14 hours. When you hit the 14-hour mark, it seems to be the sweet spot when it comes to intermittent fasting. 12 hours is good, but better when you get to 14. This has been proven. And for some people, they don't eat till 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever, or even noon. Well, then you're getting into the 18 hour and more of intermittent fasting. And it really, really is effective. And blood pressure, heart, but big thing, digestion. Because I used to tell my patients this with acid reflux. And I saw tens of thousands over the years, people that really suffered with acid reflux. One of the things, and again, I just going to give you a little background, is they get acid reflux generally. They eat too much sugar. Your stomach wasn't designed for that. Your stomach wasn't designed even to eat fruits and vegetables and to make them your main dish. Your body wasn't designed for that. Your body was designed, and your stomach was designed, and you only have one. You're not a cow. You don't have four. You have one. You're not into rumination. That's regurgitating. But that's what happens when you don't have enough acid in your stomach. Okay? And you don't get enough acid because you're not using the acid. You don't need acid in your stomach to break sugar down or crappy carbohydrates. You don't. You need a little bit of acid to break down vegetables and fruit, but not much. Your body is designed with an enormous acidity within the stomach. Use it or lose it. It's like your gallbladder. Why do people lose their gallbladder? Primarily. Why? Well, they weren't eating enough fat. So what happens? Bile sits in the gallbladder, and it forms stones because it's not being emptied. You're not using it. You eat a salad. Well, you don't need bile for a salad. You need bile for a steak. Okay, so you don't eat it. And that's what happened to millions and millions and millions of women that have lost, especially. Women are more susceptible, by the way, to lose their gallbladder because the smooth muscle within the gallbladder needs progesterone. Well, you have a baby and you lose all your progesterone in the placenta and your body can't make it up. And, literally, millions of women lose their gallbladder over that. And they eat salad instead of steak, and they lose their gallbladder over that. Because your stomach was made like a lion's stomach to eat meat. It's the biggest argument I make against the vegetarian and vegan is the anatomy within the body. It's the anatomy. It's the biology. It's the way you work. You're not a cow. You're not a rabbit. You don't have cellulase. You don't even have the enzyme. You don't make the enzyme. Well, if you don't make the enzyme, and your stomach was designed to be extremely acidic. And when you don't, well, things go south. Okay? So, anywho, intermittent fasting, a good thing. Okay? Now, there's other types of fasting, and I'm not against it, guys. I'm not. But I'm a realist. I want people, I used to tell people this all the time in my office. I am going to give you a plan, not to fail, but to succeed. I don't want to give you a plan to fail. If I say, do not all the time, don't do this, don't eat that. Look, I put them on a reset first, but I always gave them a plan to succeed. And so I made it doable. I want you to, and that's why I like intermittent fasting. It's doable. That's why I like, hey, can you stop You want a great habit? Don't eat at night. Don't have anything after your supper. It would be actually better if you had your heavier meal at noon or in the morning. But that's all right. Okay? I want you to live on the planet. I know you live on planet Earth, and I always told people I give you a plan to succeed. I want to make it easier. It's never easy, but I want to make it easier for you to succeed. So okay, you're going to do the reset. How about not eating at night? Try that. You have your supper, stop. And don't eat till the next morning. And then you might find you might even be able to go an hour or two. I want you to have your coffee. I've read online, there's gurus, I'm telling you, they pop up and they give me migraines. Well, the worst time to have a coffee is in the morning because it affects your cortisol. And that gives me a migraine. I get a bad migraine. I mean, millions of people start their day. By the way, I don't start my day with coffee. I start my day with water because I know what the body needs. And you need water to start your day. Okay? You need water. So I want to have a coffee. I mean it as soon as I get out of bed. But I got such a habit, and I don't care where I am going to have 16 ounces or a half a liter of water before I just don't allow myself to have that coffee until I've had my water. That's me, and I did that. I got patients, tens of thousands of patients over the years. Change your habit in the morning. Get up in the morning, drink water. I don't like water, Dr. Martin, says most men who are big babies. Men are babies. I don't like water. Can I put something in it? No. Just drink it. You'll thank me later when you find out how dehydrated you were. Start your day. And then you can have a coffee. Okay. Okay? I'm going to make it doable. You can have coffee. Okay, as long as I can have a coffee. Oh, you can have coffee. I want you to have coffee. It's your supplement. I want you to have a supplement every day of coffee. Think of it. You're drinking coffee and you're going, Dr. Martin's, it's his favorite supplement. Yes. How did I get off on coffee? Oh, intermittent fasting. Get up. Form habits. Okay. Here's another one. A new study on, salt and insulin. Now, guys, you know me. I talk about sugar and insulin all the time, right? Sugar is toxic. Therefore, sugar can't stay in your bloodstream. Your body knows that. The world out there don't know that because they believe in moderation. The world believes that sugar's, and you'll get a lot of gurus saying, well, don't you go low carb because you need sugar, man, to survive. Well, wait a minute. Sugar is toxic. Your body's dedicated to getting it out of your bloodstream. Absolutely dedicated to it. Okay? It's absolutely dedicated to it. So, but what we don't talk about enough is salt. You need salt. Your tears are salt. Your saliva is salt. You got salt in your blood. You need sodium. People don't realize that because salt has got a bad rap. Right? Again, I love cardiologists, guys. Okay? You're having a heart attack. You want a cardiologist. Okay? But don't talk to them about nutritional advice. I'm sorry. They don't know anything. They're the ones who pumped up cholesterol and heart disease. Don't eat butter, says my cardiologist. Eat our cereal, says the cardiologist. Don't eat bacon, says the cardiologist. You think they're right about nutrition? They don't know what they're talking about. So what did they do? Well, you know what? You got high blood pressure. Better cut out the salt. How many millions of people even today? Oh, I better have low sodium. Why? Well, I got high blood pressure. No, but high blood pressure comes from sugar, not salt. But salt's important. Salt's important. And salt your body needs. Your stomach needs salt. Do you know that? Even to digest, your stomach needs salt. It needs sodium. You need potassium too. You need magnesium too. Of course, those are electrolytes. You need them. But you need sodium. And this, it's something I probably have talked about a few times, not that much, is the connection between salt and insulin. Because we all know if you're a carboholic, you're developing insulin resistance. That is the metabolic syndrome that 93% of the population have. Those are the stats. It's not good. We're failing. I was listening a little bit. I saw it online. They were, what's their name now? Sears or no? Anyway, I'll get it in a minute. I actually read her book. And she's in Congress in a Senate hearing, and she's getting raked over the coals because she thinks outside the box. She understands the statistics in the United States. And when I say, guys, the United States, Canada, we're the same. We eat the same foods. We're carboholics. And she was just talking about, we need a paradigm shift in our society. We're blaming salt when we ought to be blaming sugar. We're blaming butter when butter is good for you. And we allow all these vegetable oils and man-made oils that belong in your engine of your car and not inside your body. And that's all she was saying. And man, does she ever get pushed back on that. I mean, they love the status quo. And yet we're failing. We're the most over-medicated society in the world. In North America, we take more drugs than anywhere else in the world, and it isn't even close. We got more diabetes, it's coming out both our ears. And we got 93% of the population in North America have metabolic syndrome. That's an insulin problem. But what they're showing is a lot of times, even though, yes, they're carboholics and this and that, they have a very little sodium in their diet, salt. And I'm not talking about the sodium they add, because that's table salt. That stuff isn't good for you. That's not what your body needs. Your body needs real salt. And it helps with insulin resistance. Insulin levels are chronically elevated, and salt is retained by the body. And that's why it's not salt is the problem. And we need salt. And so, you know me, I like adding a pinch of salt to water. I do it. A good Himalayan or a Celtic salt with all those minerals, 84 minerals, trace minerals, is so good for you. Okay, let me see where we're at here. Okay, let's do, that's salt and insulin. Kind of interesting here. Okay, we got one here on selenium. Let me do this because selenium is a very misunderstood mineral. Okay, it's very important in the body of selenium. And when we talk thyroid, if I gave a quiz 9 out of 10 people, or 99% of people I gave a quiz to, what's the most important ingredient in your, in terms of nutrition for your thyroid? And the world would say iodine. I would say selenium. Not that I don't like iodine, okay? But selenium is really a cofactor for thyroid. And I used to tell patients, look, one of the things your thyroid will respond to is when you are giving it enough selenium. And they don't even know what that is. If they did hear about it, they said, oh, you mean in Brazilian nuts? No. You want to have a few nuts? I don't care. You're not a squirrel, okay? Eat steak and you get selenium. Selenium is found in the animal kingdom. So when you eat an egg, and again, I go back to what's happened in our world. Our world is so devoid. Like people's metabolism has slowed to a crawl. We got more thyroid problems than ever. I never seen anything like it. I saw it in my practice days, and it was just, now I know there's different factors for that. And I brought that to you because everything's connected. Your thyroid is like a puppet. It's got a lot of strings attached to it. From your brain, your hypothalamus, to your pituitary gland, to your liver. Liver's very important. The liver health is very important for that thyroid gland to work properly. Very important. And then ladies, your ovaries, very important for the thyroid. Your adrenals, very important for the thyroid. Because the adrenals, when your stress hormone is too high, it robs progesterone. When progesterone is robbed, you get estrogen dominance. Now your thyroid slows to a crawl. That's what happens. I saw that a lot in my practice. And one way to feed the thyroid, that's why steak, guys, when I say sun, steak, and steel, I mean it. When I talk to you about steak, I mean it. When I say steak, I mean roast beef. I mean red meat. Because it stimulates the thyroid because you're getting so much selenium, bioavailable selenium. You need that. And we don't get enough of it. We really don't get enough selenium because we just don't eat usually. People are not eating. I know my audience is different than that. My audience is different than that, okay? But very, very important, okay? And by the way, selenium is really important for glutathione production. Now, where's glutathione made? You guys know this. It's made in your liver. That's why you want to have an empty liver. You don't want to have a fatty liver. You want to have an empty liver. Empty your liver. Your diet empties your liver. You can't do a detox unless you have an empty liver. It's impossible. I don't care about your bowel very much. I do, but I don't. It's not your primary tool for a detox. Oh, Dr. Martin, I got a detox. I gotta clean out my gut. No. I know you want to go to the bathroom, but more important than that is your liver, because your blood goes through your liver. Your blood's got to be cleaned. You want to do a detox? Well, you better take out all that garbage out of your blood. And glutathione is part of that. It's your Velcro. And that comes out of your liver. And if you don't have enough selenium, yeah, you're not making enough glutathione. Okay. And by the way, okay, I can't remember if I've ever done anything. I've talked to you about mercury in the past, but just close with this. By the way, mercury is, why when you eat tuna, okay? 'Cause I've been asked this question before. Why is it that people who eat tuna, millions of people eat tuna every day, why is it, and usually they have, because they're a bigger fish, have more mercury in it. But you know what? Tuna is high in selenium. And therefore, you don't get mercury toxicity. Even though tuna has more mercury, the bigger the fish, the more mercury it's got. But the selenium nullifies it, the mercury. I don't know if you knew that or not. I don't know if I've ever talked about that. I should have in the past. Okay? I should have. Okay. Guys, we love you. You know what tomorrow is? Q&A. Q&A. Yeah, question and answer Friday. Not too late. Get your questions in. info@martinclinic.com. Okay, guys, we love you, but talk to you soon.